Welcome to the Motheroo Podcast. I'm River.
And I'm Riley.
And this is the show where we break down the real science behind parenting.
All right, let's just jump right in. If you have a little one, you know the screen time debate is, well, it's everywhere, right? It can feel super overwhelming with everyone having an opinion. So today, our whole goal is to cut through all that noise. We're going to give you the clear, scientific facts so you can feel confident you're making the best choice for your family.
Okay, so where do you even begin with a topic this big? Well, I think the best place to start is with the experts. Let's look at what the major global health organizations are actually saying. Their advice is based on years of solid research, so it gives us a really clear, evidence-based place to start from. And right away, what jumps out is how consistent they are. Look at this. The World Health Organization, the American Academy of Pediatrics, they're basically saying the same thing. For kids under 2, the consensus is pretty much zero entertainment screen time, nada. And for ages 2 to 5, it's a hard max of 1 hour a day. And these aren't just numbers they pulled out of a hat, They are based on a mountain of evidence about what's best for a tiny, developing brain.
All right, so that's the ideal. That's what the experts say we should be aiming for. But what's really happening out there in the real world, in our homes? Well, it turns out there's let's just say, a pretty big gap between the guidelines and reality.
And yeah, here's that gap in black and white. It's kind of shocking when you see it like this. The guideline for a 2-year-old is no more than 60 minutes, but a huge study out of Australia found that the average kid that age is getting 148 minutes. That's nearly 2.5 times the recommended limit, every single day.
And when you see it as a bar chart, it just hits you, doesn't it? That little bar on the left, that's the guideline. The big tall one next to it, that's the average reality. It's a massive, massive difference, and it really shows you how much of a challenge this is for pretty much everyone.
And look, this isn't just a few families struggling. The research is pretty clear. Only about 11% of families with infants are actually hitting these guidelines. So if you're feeling like you're way over the limit, you are definitely not alone. This is a huge modern-day parenting challenge.
So this all begs the question, why? Why are the experts so strict about this? What's the actual science behind it? Let's get into the real nitty-gritty. How too much screen time can literally impact a toddler's brain while it's growing.
Okay, this quote right here, it honestly stopped me in my tracks. Just listen to this. For every minute of screen time, toddlers experienced 7 fewer adult words heard, 5 fewer child vocalizations, and 1 less conversational turn. Think about that. Every single minute in front of a screen is a minute of lost language. They're not hearing words, they're not making their own sounds, and they're not getting that crucial back and forth that teaches them how to communicate.
And let's put some numbers on that to see what it really means. If a toddler is getting 3 hours of screen time a day, which, as we saw, is pretty common, that could add up to them missing over 1,100 adult words every day. That is a gigantic language gap that just keeps getting wider and wider.
And you can actually measure the impact. This massive study found that kids with over 4 hours of screen time a day had almost a 5 times higher risk of communication delays by the time they were 2. And look at the other numbers. The risk for delays in problem-solving and social skills more than doubled. Those numbers they're pretty hard to ignore.
And it's not just about behavior. This is happening on a neurological level. Research has actually found that more screen time in babies is linked to physical changes in the brain's electrical activity. We see stronger theta waves. Now, in simple terms, that's a brainwave pattern you see when someone is less alert, kind of like when you're daydreaming. And, worryingly, it's been connected to attention problems down the road.
Okay, I know. That was a lot of really concerning stuff. But listen, the goal here is not to make you feel guilty or alarmed. It's to empower you. So now that we get the why, let's talk about the what now. Let's dive into some real actionable strategies you can use to get a handle on this.
You know it, I know it. One of the biggest battles is just turning the thing off without a full-blown meltdown. So here's a super simple 4-step process that can really, really help. First, set the limit before you even turn it on. Then give a 5-minute warning, no surprises. Use a visual timer so they can actually see the time running out. And this last one is the secret sauce. Have something fun planned for right after. You're not just taking something away, you're moving on to the next fun thing.
It's also super important to remember that not all screen time is the same. The research is really clear that the quality of what they're watching makes a huge difference. You want to look for slower-paced, educational stuff. But you know what the most powerful tool is? It's you. Watching with your child, talking about what's happening on screen, that completely changes the game. It turns it from a passive, zoned-out experience into an active, connected one.
And at the end of the day, cutting back on screens isn't just about taking something away and leaving a big empty space in the day. It's about filling that time with rich, real-world experiences that are way, way better at building a healthy little brain. So, let's get some ideas flowing.
First up, creative play. This is where their little minds just explode with problem-solving and imagination. I'm talking simple stuff, right? Drawing, painting, building with blocks, playing dress-up, and making up silly stories. These are the things that build what's called cognitive flexibility, basically the ability to think creatively and adapt. And a screen just can't compete with that.
And then, of course, getting them moving. Toddlers are basically tiny balls of energy. They're meant to move. A walk outside to look for cool leaves, a dance party in the living room, building a pillow fort obstacle course, all of that gives them sensory input and physical development that is absolutely crucial. Plus, let's be honest, it's a great way to wear them out before nap time. Hey, remember all those thousands of missed words we were talking about earlier? Well, these activities are the perfect antidote. Reading books together, singing silly songs, even just baking cookies. They are packed to the brim with conversation and connection. This is how you directly build back those language and social skills that screens can push to the side.
Okay, so we've got the science, we've got some smart strategies, and we've got a ton of fun alternatives. So the big question is, how do we actually pull this all together and make a plan that our family can actually stick with? Let's talk about putting it into practice.
All right, here are the final keys to making this work. Number one, and this is a big one, we have to model the behavior we want to see. Our kids see us on our phones all the time. Number two, create some screen-free zones, like no phones at the dinner table or in bedrooms. It protects that family time. Also, remember, the goal isn't just to remove the screen, it's to replace it with something fun. And last but not least, be nice to yourself. Start small. Cutting back gradually is way more sustainable than trying to go cold turkey overnight.
So we want to leave you with just one question to chew on. This doesn't have to be some massive overnight change. Just think about this. What is one small, simple, real-world thing you could choose to do with your child today instead of just turning on a screen?
Everything we've talked about today is backed up by some really solid science. If you want to see all the studies and dig deeper, you can find a full list of citations and read the complete blog post this whole explainer was based on over at our website, motheroohq.com. We really hope this was helpful for you.